Inside a tranquil Shinto shrine, it feels as if time itself has slowed to a gentle crawl. On a summer afternoon, a warm breeze drifts through the gaps between towering trees, brushing softly against rows of neatly hung wooden Ima prayer plaques. The small wooden plaques sway with the wind, gently tapping against each other, creating a sound both crisp and tender, less like the clink of earthly objects, and more like a whisper, a quiet confessi. It feels as though each plaque holds an ancient soul, softly telling its hidden prayers and stories, sharing them with the heavens, and with us, the chance passers-by. As evening falls, the last rays of sunlight turn to warm golden paint, gently brushing across the surface of each plaque. Some Ima bear the image of a gentle, graceful white horse, the oldest and purest design. Others are filled with heartfelt wishes and names. May my son pass the imperial exam. May I find lasting love. Bless this journey with safety and good fortune. Each Ima is a vessel for a dream. Each stroke of ink, a bridge unseen, yet unbroken, linking mortals and the divine. For centuries, whether in grand shrines or humble ones, this site has been rooted deep in the soil of Japanese culture, a warm, enduring tradition that has comforted countless hearts across generation. Yet the origin of these small wooden carriers of hope takes us back 1,000 years to a tradition both unusual and solemn, with a touch of quiet tragedy. From living sacred horses to painted wooden symbols, Ima have undergone a long and thoughtful transformation, each one telling a legendary tale of Japanese faith and culture. Our journey begins with the sound that once shattered the stillness of the ancient world, the distant call of a horse. The serene atmosphere promotes spiritual reflection and connection with the divine. Come with us through the corridors of time as we uncover how this small wooden plaque has carried and still carries the unchanging hopes of humanity across 1,000 years. In Japan's ancient legends, when the world first emerged from chaos, the gods walked the land of Ashihara no Nakatsukuni, the central land of reed plains. Their divine chariots were not clouds or beams of light, but powerful, spirited steeds. Horses were sacred beings, the chosen mounts of deities, visiting the mortal world and roaming the heavens. Over 1,000 years ago, on a certain morning, drought had gripped the land for months. The earth lay cracked, riverbeds lay bare, and farmers stared at their withering rice stalks, despair etched across their faces. Amid this grim and heavy air, a solemn procession set out from the imperial palace in Kyoto, bound for the deep mountains to the north. At its head was the emperor's imperial envoy, clad in elaborate, formal robes, his expression grave. At the center of the procession walked a divine horse, jet black, its coat gleaming. In those days, to present a horse to the gods was the ultimate act of devotion. The color of the horse was tied directly to the prayer's purpose, a detail clearly recorded in ancient texts such as the Nihon Shoki. In times of drought, when rain was desperately needed, a black horse symbolizing rain clouds was offered. Their destination was Kifune Shrine, nestled deep in Kyoto's mountains home, legend says, to the water deity. The music swelled, and the envoy placed the reins into the priest's hands, offering the horse formally to the gods. But when seasons turned and torrential rains brought floods, people also came to Kifune Shrine. This time, they would present a white horse, symbolizing the sun, or a red horse, with a coat like flames, pleading with the gods to drive away the clouds and restore sunlight to the land. Scenes like these played out again and again at Kifune Shrine. Generation after generation, imperial envoys brought black or white horses here, seeking gentle seasons and peace for the nation. Larger shrines even kept stables, caring for these divine horses, symbolic mounts of the gods ready for such occasions. Yet offering a real horse was a luxury far beyond the reach of ordinary people. In an age of scarcity, the price of a fine steed could ruin an entire household. So they sought a simpler, more humble substitute, one that could still carry their heartfelt prayers. It was in this setting that an innovative form of offering quietly took root. As far back as the late 3rd century, during the Kofun period, people crafted substitute horses from other materials. An old farmer might shape a humble little horse from river clay. A mother might weave a charming horse doll from post-harvest straw. Late in the Nara period, toward the end of the 8th century, on a quiet night in the Hamamatsu region, an unknown craftsman was repairing the beams of his village shrine. Moonlight streamed through the window lattice, falling across a smooth cypress board beside him. He glanced at the wood, then up at the bright moon, and suddenly, inspiration struck. He thought of the majestic sacred horses at Kifune Shrine, and of the charming straw horses his fellow villagers wove. Instead, he took a stick of charcoal used for making ink, and on the smooth wooden surface began to draw from memory. Soon, the image of a horse full of motion, as if ready to leap into the air, took shape upon the board. He placed the board, with all due reverence, before the shrine. The next day, the villagers saw this painted horse and marveled at it. The heart of a prayer lies in sincerity and symbolism, not in the material value of the offering. This wooden board bearing the image of a horse called ima in Japanese marked a turning point in the tradition of horse offerings. The innovation spread quickly, and archaeological finds have since confirmed this history. In 1972, at the Iba ruins in Hamamatsu City, Shizuoka Prefecture, archaeologists unearthed what is believed to be the oldest surviving ima from the Nara period. And between 2012 and 2013, excavations at the Shikata ruins in Okayama Prefecture revealed even larger ima from the same era. These silent artifacts tell us that by the 8th century, offering prayers through wooden ima was no longer a craftsman's isolated idea, it had already begun to spread among ordinary people. Even more fascinating, the word ima itself gradually moved from being a colloquial term to an accepted part of refined language. By the Heian period, in the year 1012, the classical Chinese poetry anthology Honsho Monzui recorded an offering under the title, Three Horses on Colored Paper Ima. Those 6 brief characters carried great weight. They showed that 1,000 years ago, both the word ima and the act it described were already widely known and recorded for posterity. From the heavy burden of offering a living horse to the ease of presenting a painted one, the threshold for prayer was lowered, and this change opened a new door for the flourishing of ima culture. As the ima tradition spread, the ancient custom of offering horses entered an entirely new chapter. If in the Nara and Heian periods ima still largely kept a horse as their central motif, by the mid-Muromachi period, these small wooden boards had broken free from those limits, blooming with unprecedented creativity. The designs on ima were no longer confined to horses. They had become open canvases where nobles and samurai wove their personal wishes into unique works of art. At Hakusan Shrine in Koka District, Shiga Prefecture, a remarkable ima from 1436 is still preserved today. It shows no horse at all, but instead finely painted portraits of 36 immortal poets from Japan's waka poetry tradition. One can imagine the donor a noble with a love for literature, not praying for wealth or power, but by depicting these poetic sages, offering a heartfelt wish to one day compose waka as exquisite as theirs. Meanwhile, at Dajing Shrine in Nanao, Noto Province, an ima from 1459 displays a very different spirit. It depicts a grand festival scene with ornate flower floats, brimming with life and color. Behind it likely lay the complex hopes of a samurai lord, enduring military fortune, eternal prosperity for his domain, and lasting beauty for the women of his household. This trend reached its height during the Azuchi, Momoyama, and Edo periods. Many high-ranking samurai and wealthy merchants no longer settled for small wooden plaques. They commissioned massive ima panels so large and so exquisitely painted they rivaled the finest works of art. They hired the most renowned painters of their day, elevating the artistic value of ima to its peak. At Kofukuji, in Nara, a 1521 ima depicting the Bodhisattva Manjushri radiates wisdom, blessing students seeking academic success. At Itsukushima Shrine in 1552, an ima portrays the legendary meeting of Benkei and Ushua Kamaru on the Gojo Bridge, symbolizing an unbreakable bond between lord and retainer and the certainty of victory in battle. There was even an ima illustrating an ancient Indian king converting to Buddhism, using a faraway tale to express the donor's deepest faith. As the number of ima offerings swelled, the small racks at shrines could no longer bear the load. Thus, a new type of shrine building emerged, the ima-do, dedicated to storing and displaying ima. Records from Shinagawa, Tokyo, note that Hataoka Hachiman Shrine once built an impressive ima-do. Amazingly, in the final days of World War II, when Shinagawa suffered devastating air raids and much of the area was leveled, this ancient ima-do survived untouched as if shielded by the gods, quietly guarding the treasures within, each holding centuries of prayers. Yet the true and most vibrant life of ima culture lay not in the grand works of the elite, but in the passionate participation of ordinary people. By the Edo period, with peace secured and the market economy thriving, common folk warmly embraced ima as an approachable way to offer prayers. Specialist ima artists even emerged, making and selling them as a profession. Ima had fully left the realm of court and aristocracy, entering everyday households as an essential part of folk belief. The creativity of the common people infused Ima with surprising touches of daily life. Some, thinking outside the box, skipped painting altogether and instead wrote math problems or riddles. These special Ima were called sangaku or nazo gaku. At Kitano Temmangu in Kyoto, a sangaku from 1686 survives, its surface packed with intricate geometry problems, proof of the era's popular love of mathematics. Curiously, at some point, the sangaku's face was painted over with another design. It wasn't until a century later, when the outer paint cracked and peeled away, that the mathematical treasure hidden beneath was revealed once more. In the rich soil of Edo period commoner culture, Ima became more than vessels for prayers. They were canvases where stories and faith intertwined. One of the most celebrated chapters in Ima history came from none other than the ukiyo-e master Katsushika Hokusai, whose bold contribution left an indelible mark. According to legend, in the early 19th century, Edo was shrouded in the grip of a devastating epidemic. Measles, smallpox, plague, these unseen enemies cast shadows of fear and death over the city. Medicine failed, and prayers seemed powerless. In desperation, the faithful of Ushijima Shrine in Edo pooled their resources to commission the great master, Hokusai, then in his 80s, and renowned throughout Japan, to create a massive Ima powerful enough to drive away the evil spirits of disease. The elderly Hokusai accepted the grave request, shutting himself away in his studio for days on end. He was not merely painting, he was waging a spiritual battle against the plagues tormenting Edo's people. When the colossal Ima was finally unveiled and hung high in the shrine's main hall, it left all who saw it in awe. At its center stood Susanoo, the fierce and imposing hero of Japanese mythology. He gripped his divine sword, eyes blazing, radiating an aura no evil could breach. Around him swarmed grotesque demons, each embodying a different plague. With his boundless imagination, Hokusai personified measles, smallpox, plague, and other illnesses into hideous, bizarre creatures. Some had blue faces and fanged mouths, others hunched and twisted, but all cowered before Susanoo's divine might, as if forced to sign a pact swearing to leave the land forever. Imagine, in an age before modern medicine, survivors of such devastation walking into the shrine, looking up at this awe-inspiring, powerful Ima, and feeling a surge of courage and hope. This was more than a prayer, it became a symbol of Edo's collective resolve to stand against disaster. According to the British Museum, the original masterpiece was tragically lost in the fires following the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923. Fortunately, copies made by later hands and the moving story itself have been passed down through time. Even today, it reminds us that Ima carry not only personal wishes, but also the unshakable courage and determination of entire communities in the face of hardship. Examples of legends woven into Ima are countless. The surface of an Ima became a stage for imagination, where faith, art, and storytelling met in perfect harmony. Behind each painting was a donor's heartfelt hope that the power of the story itself might move the gods to grant their wish. In this sense, Ima are far from cold offerings. They are warm, timeless narratives preserved in wood. In modern times, as society underwent rapid and dramatic change, the culture of Ima rose and fell, leaving its mark at every turning point in history. During the war years, a cloud of sorrow hung over the Japanese archipelago. Yet in the home front, people continued the tradition of offering prayers through Ima. Shrines across the country filled their racks with Ima dedicated to loved ones sent to the front lines. A mother, her hands trembling, might write, "May my son have lasting fortune in battle and return home victorious." Behind those simple words lay countless nights of longing and worry. In those times, each small Ima embodied a nation's collective hope amid hardship. After World War II, a devastated Japan began its long road to recovery. The Ima tradition, too, revived as society stabilized. The old practice of donors hand-painting Ima or hiring artists declined, replaced by standardized, printed plaques prepared by the shrines. Each new year, shrines released Ima decorated with the zodiac animal of the year or auspicious symbols for worshippers to purchase. Many also hung giant Ima during the holiday, creating striking displays that became part of the modern New Year's scenery. By the 21st century, Ima had quietly taken on new cultural elements, most notably, the anime subculture beloved by younger generations. In 2007, the slice-of-life anime Lucky You Star aired, unexpectedly sparking a nationwide phenomenon. Its setting, based on Washinomiya Shrine in Saitama Prefecture, was suddenly flooded with thousands of fans from all over Japan. They came not just for pilgrimage, but to pour their love for the series into Ima. With skills rivaling professional illustrators, they painted beloved characters onto the small plaques, praying for the characters' happiness and for the work's legacy to live on. This was the birth of the Ita-ima craze. Since then, anime-themed ima have become increasingly common. Kandamyojin Shrine near Akihabara, featured in several hit anime, became a sacred site for fans. Shrines embraced the trend, collaborating with anime creators to produce official mo-ima designs. During New Year's 2015, around 650 fan-made Ita-ima were displayed there, an open-air gallery of fan art in full spectacle. To traditionalists, such scenes may seem jarring. Yet from another perspective, they reveal the remarkable adaptability and vitality of ima culture. Tradition and modernity, faith and subculture all converging in harmony on a single wooden plaque. Today, the custom has also captured the fascination of many foreign visitors. On the racks, you'll now find wishes written in English, Chinese, Korean, and more. People from different cultures are engaging in a heartfelt dialogue across borders through a single, small, wooden plaque. 1,000 years have passed, flowing quietly through time. From the sacred living horses offered by emperors and generals to the humble painted plaques in the hands of commoners, from timeless ancient myths to the fleeting idols of pop culture, ima have long crossed the boundaries of class, era, and culture, acting as faithful record keepers of a vibrant and unbroken thread of belief. Each time we approach the racks laden with ima, it feels as if we can hear whispers that have traveled across 1,000 years. And now, at the close of our story, let us return to a shrine of today. The sun has slipped beneath the horizon, and night has fallen. An elderly priest gently removes a cluster of ima, heavy with wishes, from the rack. Their mission is complete. They are about to face their final rite. In an open clearing within the shrine grounds, the ima are stacked together. The priest chants sacred prayers and lights the purifying fire. Flames rise, casting a warm glow into the night sky. Though modern ima are often seen as temporary offerings, removed after a time, and ritually burned by the shrine, people believe their life does not end here. In the curling threads of smoke are all the wishes and stories each ima once carried. They drift into the wind, into the night sky, into the vast world, echoing endlessly, never fading away. The wind stirs again, and the fresh ima on the racks begin to chime softly. New prayers are being written, new stories are about to begin. This song of hope will keep on singing, carried forward into another 1,000 years. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next story from Japan's history.